Alright, so for today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Doyle wire crimpers, or as Harbor Freight likes to call them, crimping and cutting tool. Now the SKU number for this, or the item number for this, is 63989, and these are a 9.5-inch pair of wire crimpers. Now Doyle likes to, or I should say Harbor Freight likes to compare them to the Klein version of these, and they actually look fairly identical to the Klein version. I think really the only thing that's different from these and the Kleins is the Kleins are made in the United States. They have the same burgundy style handles on them and the same kind of finish on the tool as well. Now this tool can crimp from 10 all the way down to 22 gauge wire, and it will do insulated and non-insulated terminals. So we'll go ahead and take a look here at the tool. Now, like I said, you have those burgundy or those dark red handles on them, which do look nice. They are a dipped handle. I don't think that Harbor Freight offers these in a comfort grip handle. I could be mistaken, though. I was only able to find the dipped handles in my local Harbor Freight. And then coming up to the business end of the tool, you have the Doyle name, which is laser etched onto the surface of the plier. And then you're going to have your insulated and your non-insulated crimpers. And then you also have a pair of cutting knives at the top of the pliers. So if you need to cut some wire, trim some wire, cut a zip tie, or whatever, you can use this tool to do so. So that's pretty much it for the front side, and then you got the back side. Again, you're going to have your non-insulated and your insulated on the back, and then you also have some warnings, one telling you to wear safety glasses, and the other one telling you that the grips on here are not insulated, so they're not going to prevent you from getting shocked if you accidentally touch something that is live. So that is something you're going to want to keep in mind with these. A lot of people think that these handles, or at least a standard pair of comfort grip handles, provide some sort of insulation, and that is just not true. So we'll go ahead and zoom out. That's pretty much it for the detail on these pliers. Nothing too crazy to go into, but now we're going to go ahead and bring in some wire here to crimp some terminals onto. So I'll bring in those terminals, right, and we'll get to work. So I think we're going to start off with this 18 gauge stranded wire, and we'll give it a couple crimps. So I'll go ahead and put the terminal onto the wire and have just a little bit of wire sticking out. Now for me, I've found that having this point on the crimper, to have it on the bottom of the terminal, I feel like you get a lot better of a crimp. That's just me though, and we'll go ahead and crimp down on that terminal and squeeze it as tight as you can, and you should be able to pull that terminal off and bend the head up, or bend that spade up just a little bit to straighten it out, and boom, you are crimped onto that 18 gauge stranded wire. Now let's say you didn't like that, or you messed something up, it wasn't long enough, you can use those cutters there on the front and cut that right off and give it another go around. So we'll go ahead and crimp another 18 gauge terminal onto this wire. So like I said, we'll have a little bit of wire showing there on the front. And now instead of having that that tooth, or whatever you want to call that, there on the top or on the bottom, we're going to go ahead and put it on the top, and we'll go ahead and crimp that terminal down. And as you see when you look at that terminal, see if we can get the camera to focus, the terminal's not quite crimped like the other one was. You can see you still got a little bit sticking out. So over time, or if you really pull on this terminal, you may or may not be able to pull the wire out of the terminal. That's just kind of what I've found. So we'll go ahead and use those cutters to cut that terminal off, and we'll set that 18 gauge wire off to the side. And now we'll move up to our number 12 wire. So we'll grab ourselves a spade terminal and repeat the same operation. So go ahead and insert that guy in, and then go ahead and put our terminal into the tool and give it a crimp. So as you see, when you crimp it this way, I'm going to use two hands on that. When you crimp it that way, it does crush that terminal a little bit better than when you have it the other way. So there you go. That terminal is on that stranded wire. And again, if you didn't like it, or whatever reason, too long, too short, cut it off and start over. So we'll go ahead and do one more terminal on this 12 gauge wire. So go ahead and put him in there, and then flip those jaws around, put the terminal in, and give it a crimp, smashing it onto that wire, and we should be all set. Not too happy with that crimp. Maybe I can use the non-insulated or the insulated ones to crimp it a little bit better. But I'm not happy with the way that one came out, but it should hold up over time until you cut it off. So I'm going to push that off to the side, and I'm bringing our last and final wire, the 10 stranded, which is the max you can do for this tool. So I'll go ahead and put our wire into the terminal and give it a crimp. So set that guy in there, and then we'll crimp down on that terminal. And kind of failed at that one, messed that one up. Yep, did mess that one up, but did kind of crimp that terminal on. So I'll go ahead and a little bit challenging to do with this number 10 stranded wire. But we'll go ahead and cut that off as it shot it off into the background. So go ahead and crimp this guy on. Hopefully I can do it a lot better than that first attempt. Definitely wasn't happy with it, but it wasn't going to be going anywhere. So go ahead and get him situated in there. And again, we'll go ahead and crimp down. You can use 2 hands if needed. We'll go ahead and crimp down on that terminal, and it shouldn't be going anywhere anytime soon. And it's on there nice and strong. And we'll go ahead might as well just cut it off for the video. So overall, these are definitely a fairly decent pair of crimpers from the Doyle brand over at Harbor Freight. It's kind of hard to mess up a pair of crimpers, in my opinion. As long as they crimp terminals onto the wire, that's pretty much all that matters. Like I said, it's kind of hard to mess these up. Now, you don't necessarily have to go out and spend boatloads of money on a decent pair of strippers, as you see here. These will definitely get the job done. So if you're maybe not wanting to spend the money on the channel locks, I think Southwire has a pair. Klein, if you don't want to spend the crazy money on them and you just want to get something cheap that'll get the job done, these Doyles will definitely get the job done for sure, as you saw in the video. So with that being said, that's all I have for this video. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.